Even the best of things needs to come to an end, and maybe that is the case with your job as well. When you get to that space where you think, you know what, I need to move forward, or perhaps you've been shoulder tapped and you've got a better offer on the table, and you need to write that letter of resignation to your current boss. How do we do this well? Tom O'Neill from cv.co.nz joins us on the program. Tom, kia ora, good morning.
Kia ora, my friend. How you going?
I'm doing very well. Not planning on resigning anytime soon. Perhaps some rumours started because I was away for a bit, but no, I am. Well, for the next season at least. Never say never, but we do get to that time sometimes in our career where an opportunity opens up, or we perhaps realise that in order to get where we need to be, we need to stop doing what we're currently doing. It can be a tough decision.
Oh, look, absolutely. And this is the thing. We come to, sometimes jobs just come to a natural point where, there's no more challenge, there's no more development opportunities, and now we're just sitting in that comfy chair. And, if that's the case, is that really the best for us? I mean, sure, it's nice to not be, not have stress, but of course, but at the same time, we need to have some challenge in our careers. I mean, we're spending a lot of our life in them.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I suppose there's good, bad, and ugly ways of doing this. We don't want to get, particularly if we're in a job where we're genuinely struggling, we don't want to get so disgruntled that we just rage quit. That our resignation letter includes the phrase "take this job and shove it." I mean, perhaps that's how we feel, but we need to process that emotion in a more positive way and avoid, not just burning bridges, but blowing them up, as it were.
Yeah, well, the term burning bridges apparently comes from a Roman general who would invade a land, and then, the bridges he crossed over to get there, burn them all. So,
Wow.
none of his team could go back. So don't be that guy.
Yeah.
But in New Zealand as well, we know each other 2 or 3 degrees of separation pretty much. So, the boss you cut off at the knees today, maybe see the vendor or supplier in 2 or 3 years' time.
Or maybe the person you need a reference from, which is got to get a bit sticky.
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the sort of people, we need to, where possible, just keep a positive relationship. And there are ways to actually, have a negative, you leaving, be a positive.
Yeah, and hey, maybe in some situations they'll be glad to see you back of you, but hopefully not. So where do we start on this? What's some of the things that we need to engage with when it comes to writing a good resignation letter, Tom?
Yeah, so we want to just really phrase it in a number of ways. So firstly, we just want to, how we deliver it. So even before you think about it, think about how you're going to get it there. The good old cowards email or text, don't do that. You want to make it formal. It's a formal thing. So certainly, the very least, print it off and give it to the boss personally, or print it off and organise to have a meeting to give it to them in. In the letter, it'll be, you really want to focus on the good times. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and then talk about some of the things you've learned, maybe some of the courses you've been on that really helped you out in your career.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you want to talk about the new opportunity. You don't need to go into detail, but, being a new opportunity in the marketing field within the area of automotive, which I really love. So this is a golden opportunity, and da-da-da-da-da. And then thirdly, you want to close it with something around, the support you're prepared to give the new person. So, if you've got to give 4 weeks notice, during my 4 weeks notice, I'm very, very keen on helping coach and mentor whoever takes over this role, and really ensure they start very well.
That's a good way of doing things. Interested in your thoughts, though. Definitely a print off and a signed letter to make it an official contract. That's going to be the most appropriate way, rather than an email, or should we do both, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, the print off and sign letter is a nice formal way to do it. But then after the email, after you've had the meeting, send a copy of the letter. Is a good way to do it, because you do want a timestamp. You don't want them to come back and go, oh, but hold on the, you said on the 14th of March, and you said, no, it was the 1st of March, So make sure your letter's dated the day you do it. And then as soon as possible, so let's say for some reason you can't have a meeting with the boss for a while, just say, look, please also find attached a copy of my letter I gave to you or dropped off at your desk on Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. And just really make it as positive and upbeat as possible.
Is it the sort of situation where, and look, different organisation structures will either allow this or make it difficult, but to make sure that this is a conversation, that it isn't just, oh yeah, I've put this letter on your desk, all the best, boss, see you later. For some organisations, of course, the exit interview is a part of that process. Is that a part of not burning the bridges, ending well, and hoping that they'll miss you?
Yeah, well, that's again the exit interview. I hate to say it, but how honest do you need to be? I think's the question. Because a lot of the time you give it a full-on exit interview, that every single minutia. That's not going to go well when that person needs to be a referee. So you need to, unfortunately, protect yourself through this process. So to some degree, there's things that are blatantly, incorrect, and you need to be really great for the next person to come in and have those resolved. Of course, you want to be honest and open about that. But you also need to manage your own brand and your own protection, and, to some degree, protect your boss. If they are worthy of protection, if they're out there just sort of slaying people, well, sure, push them in front of the bus. But at the end of the day, if it's the majority of employment sort of circumstances, you sort of tend to gloves, allude to things maybe, and then that person can have a chat with the boss and find out more if they need to. But again, it's about your brand that you're protecting over the long term. Yeah, I mean, put it this way, you don't want to go to, tell warts and all, and then suddenly you're at a conference 2 months later and there's your boss at that conference too, and saying, thanks so much for, stuffing me over. So, yeah. But again, you want to be honest about it too.
No, important to end well in, a variety of situations, and some wonderful wisdom and advice. As always, Tom, more information available at cv.co.nz. Thank you so much for the work you do. Thanks so much for joining us.
Real pleasure, dear friend. Have a great week.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.